Want to know if you're likely to live longer than most people? It might not be what you think. Forget fancy genetics tests or extreme fitness routines. Today, we're diving into the subtle, sometimes surprising signs that science says could point to a longer, healthier life. And some of these might already be part of your daily routine. Let's start with a surprising one. You walk fast. Not sprinting, but a brisk, purposeful pace. Studies from the University of Leicester in the UK found that people who walk quickly, even if they're not particularly slim, tend to live longer than those who walk slowly. It's not just about fitness, it reflects cardiovascular health and overall vitality. So if your natural walking pace is more catching the bus than window shopping, you're already ahead. Here's another hidden marker. You have strong social connections. Not just Facebook friends, I mean real conversations, real people. Research from Harvard, following people for over 80 years, found that strong relationships are the top predictor of long-term happiness and longevity. It turns out people who stay socially active into their later years often stay physically and mentally healthier. So that weekly coffee with a friend, it's not just nice, it's medicine. Now let's talk about something inside your body that you can't see. Your resting heart rate. A lower resting heart rate, typically between 60 and 80 beats per minute, is often linked with longer life. If your heart doesn't have to work as hard all the time, that's a good sign. And here's the good news. Walking, breathing exercises, and even getting enough sleep can help bring it down over time. Speaking of sleep, if you wake up at the same time every day without an alarm, your body's internal clock is probably in great shape. People who live long, healthy lives tend to have regular sleep-wake cycles. In places like Okinawa, Japan, one of the world's blue zones, where people regularly live into their 90s and hundreds of people go to bed and rise with the sun. That rhythm supports everything from digestion to brain health. And if you're someone who feels a strong sense of purpose, no matter your age, that's another powerful indicator. Whether it's caring for grandkids, volunteering, gardening, or learning something new, having a reason to get up in the morning is tied to lower rates of heart disease and dementia. One study published in Psychological Science found that people with a sense of purpose were 15% more likely to live longer. Let's shift gears for a moment. Have you ever been described as optimistic? That's not just a personality trait. Optimism can actually affect your health. A study from Boston University showed that the most optimistic people were significantly more likely to reach age 85 and beyond. Positivity helps lower stress, improve immune function, and even speed up recovery from illness. Being upbeat, hopeful, and resilient isn't just good for your mood, it could add years to your life. What about how you handle stress? If you're someone who's learned to let things go, take a deep breath, and keep things in perspective, you're doing your body a big favor. Chronic stress raises inflammation and shortens telomeres, those protective caps on your DNA that get shorter as we age. Shorter telomeres are linked to diseases and earlier death. But people who practice calm through prayer, meditation, time in nature, or just quiet hobbies often have longer telomeres and lower inflammation. Another quiet sign you're on track for a longer life? You're still curious, still asking questions, still learning. The brain is like a muscle, and lifelong learning helps keep it sharp. Neuroscientists have found that engaging in new skills like learning a new language or playing an instrument can actually rewire parts of the brain even after 70. Staying mentally active helps delay cognitive decline and improves overall brain function. Now let's talk about one of the simplest predictors that almost nobody thinks about: your grip strength. I know it sounds odd, but several large studies, including one published in The Lancet, found that grip strength is one of the best indicators of overall muscle health and even heart health. People with stronger grips tended to live longer. You don't need to be a bodybuilder. But regular use of your hands through cooking, gardening, lifting light weights is actually helping you age better. Here's another subtle clue. You eat mostly whole foods. Even if you're not on a special diet, people who regularly eat fruits, vegetables, beans, nuts, whole grains, and fish tend to live longer than those who rely on heavily processed foods. It's not about cutting everything out, it's about leaning more toward foods that look like they did when they came from the earth. If your meals include real ingredients you can pronounce, you're on the right track. Let's not forget about morning habits. Many long-lived people have simple, steady morning routines. They don't start the day rushing or skipping meals. Instead, they take a quiet moment, have a light, healthy breakfast, sometimes just fruit and tea, and ease into their day with intention. These routines create a rhythm that keeps stress low and energy levels balanced. You might also be surprised to hear that doing chores regularly is linked to a longer life. One study published in the journal JAMA Internal Medicine found that light daily physical activity like housework, gardening, or walking helped reduce the risk of death in older adults. It doesn't have to be intense. Just moving your body consistently throughout the day helps keep your metabolism, heart, and muscles in better shape. Now, I want you to think about how many of these signs show up in your own life. You might already be doing better than you think. And the great news? Even if some of these don't apply to you right now, they're things you can start doing at any age. There's no magic pill for long life. But science keeps pointing us to these small, sustainable habits and hidden signals that tell us how we're really doing on the inside. And as we're seeing, the body often speaks in whispers, not shouts. And believe it or not, we've only scratched the surface. In this video, we'll look at more unexpected clues from body temperature to sense of smell and the small practical changes that can tip the odds in your favor, because it's not just how fast you walk or how well you sleep. Some of the most surprising longevity indicators are barely noticeable unless you know what to look for. Let's start with something unexpected. Your sense of smell. Yes, really. Research published in the journal Annals of Internal Medicine found that older adults with a poor sense of smell were more likely to die within 5 years than those with a good one. Why? A strong sense of smell often reflects good brain health and nervous system function. So if your nose still picks up the smell of coffee, flowers, or dinner from across the house, that's a good sign. Here's another quiet clue. Your body temperature tends to run slightly lower than average. We're not talking about hypothermia here, just a subtle shift. Some long-lived people have a slightly cooler resting body temperature. Animal studies show that lower core body temperature is associated with slower metabolism and reduced cellular damage over time. It's still an area of active research, but it suggests that cooler may mean calmer and longer lasting. Ever notice how some people seem to bounce back easily from illness or setbacks? That resilience physically and mentally is another powerful indicator. Long life isn't about never getting sick. It's about how well your body recovers. People who return to baseline faster, whether from a cold or a stressful week, tend to have stronger immune systems and better overall function. Think of it like a rubber band. The more flexible it is, the longer it lasts. And speaking of flexibility, can you get up from the floor without using your hands? There's a simple test called the sit-rise test developed by researchers in Brazil, where you try to sit down on the floor and then get back up with as little help from your hands or knees as possible. People who score higher on this test were shown to have significantly lower mortality rates. It's not about perfection, it's about balance, core strength, and mobility. All things that protect you as you age. Now here's one that might surprise you. You enjoy spicy food. Studies out of China have linked regular consumption of chili peppers and spicy foods with a reduced risk of death from heart disease, cancer, and respiratory illnesses. Capsaicin, the compound that gives peppers their heat, has anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. So if you've got a taste for a little heat, that might just be helping you live longer. Let's talk about something often overlooked. You're proactive about your health. That doesn't mean you're constantly worried, it means you take action. You get your checkups, you ask questions, you don't ignore signs when something feels off. Studies show that people who engage in their health care, who actively participate in decisions and stay informed, tend to have better outcomes and longer lives. It's not about being a hypochondriac, it's about being your own advocate. Another quiet but powerful sign: you practice gratitude. Sounds simple, but people who regularly reflect on what they're thankful for tend to have lower blood pressure, better sleep, and improved mood. A study from the University of California found that writing down 3 things you're grateful for each day actually shifted brain activity in areas related to happiness and stress reduction. And over time, those little shifts can add up. You also might live longer if you drink coffee or tea in moderation. Several large-scale studies, including ones from the UK Biobank, suggest that people who drink a few cups of coffee or tea per day without loads of sugar or cream have lower risks of heart disease and certain types of cancer. Antioxidants in these drinks help reduce inflammation and protect cells. Of course, too much caffeine can cause other issues, but that daily cup or two might be doing you some good. Let's not forget about laughter. If you're someone who laughs easily and often, your body thanks you. Laughter reduces stress hormones, boosts circulation, and even helps regulate blood sugar. It creates a cascade of feel-good chemicals like endorphins and oxytocin, which are tied to better immune function and heart health. One study in Norway found that people with a strong sense of humor live longer, especially women. Finally, one of the clearest signs: you adapt well to change. Whether it's retirement, losing a loved one, moving to a new place, or adjusting to new health routines, the ability to stay mentally flexible and emotionally steady makes a massive difference. Longevity isn't about avoiding challenges, it's about how you handle them. People who maintain a positive attitude through life's curveballs tend to age more gracefully, physically and mentally. So here's the real takeaway. Living longer isn't about being perfect. It's about stacking small advantages, one on top of the other. Fast walking, strong friendships, regular sleep, steady routines, spicy food, laughter, and learning. These aren't extreme changes. They're daily signals that your body and mind are functioning well and giving you more time. And if some of these signs don't sound like you right now, that's not a reason to worry, it's an opportunity. You can start building these habits today. Take a walk, call a friend, try that new recipe, add one healthy thing to your routine this week. Your future self will thank you. Remember, the goal isn't just to live long, it's to live well. Every year you add is a gift, but how you spend those years, your energy, your relationships, your sense of joy and purpose, that's what truly counts. Thanks for watching. If this video gave you something to think about, share it with someone you care about. And let me know in the comments how many of these signs do you see in your own life? And which ones are you going to work on next? Take care of yourself and each other. I'll see you in the next one.